Hey guys, Daryl Malone here. I'm the developer advocate here at Eagle Eye Networks, and today I'm going to show you how to use the My Application page on our developer portal. First, to get to the developer portal, you're going to go to our website at developers.eagleeyenetworks.com. That'll take you to this site here, and to access the My Application page, you're just going to click this link on the far right side of the screen. Now, once you do that, if you don't already have a developer account, this is where you'll be able to create one. Just fill out the form here and you'll be good to go. If you already have a developer account, then you'll click the blue sign in link that's right here in the middle of the page. I'm going to go ahead and log into my account here. Now, you'll see we have a couple of different options here. A few of them I'm going to go over with you now. First and most importantly, how do you manage your application and create applications? You're going to be doing that with the List Applications link on the top left corner of the screen. You can see that with this blue button here. From here, you're going to see all of the applications that you've created for your developer account. As you can see, I've already got a number that I've created here. To add a new application, you're just going to click this blue button on the top right side of the screen. Fill out this form, a couple of different things that I'll go over. Most of it is self-explanatory. Make sure that you fill out the contact information. This is how we will be able to let you know if there are any changes to the API, if there are any especially breaking changes that you need to be aware of. We're going to make sure that you are informed well ahead of time so that you can make adjustments as needed. So definitely fill this part out. This will be the default state whenever you create a new application. As you can see, there are no client credentials available by default. So we're going to need to go ahead and create them. You'll do that by clicking the blue button on the screen over here. And you'll see that there are two things that need to be taken care of. You'll need to name your credentials, and then you'll need to add your redirect URL. So let's go ahead and call these credentials test for our test environment. And then I'm going to add a URL to match. Now this redirect URL is going to be where you're actually going to execute the OAuth process. Just to give you a quick breakdown of how that works. From the start, you'll need to provide a link that the user can click on in order to log into their VMS account. That link is going to need to be provided on wherever your application is hosted. So from that link, they're going to go over to our site, they're going to log in to their VMS account, and then they're going to be sent back to whatever you enter in the redirect URL section, which is going to need to be whitelisted in this section here. Now, once they go back to that redirect, they're going to be holding a code that is going to be what you need in order to execute the next step of the OAuth process. That's something that I'll go over in more detail in a later video. But for now, let's go ahead and add our local host as an option for our OAuth process. Now you'll notice I'm adding the full IP address and not just localhost in words. And you'll also notice that I'm using port 3333. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because this exact URL is already included in our CORS whitelist, which means you'll be able to access the API through that address. If you use anything else, it's going to have to be added to the whitelist. That includes your production server. And I'll show you how to go ahead and get that done a little bit later in this video. But for now, let's go ahead and add our local host option here for our test credentials. All right, and as you can see, that process was successful. And now on screen, you'll see my API client credentials, which includes a client ID and a client secret. That's pretty much all you'll need in order to get started. Let's go back to the My Application list and just go over a couple of other things that will be helpful as you start developing. As I mentioned, we use a CORS whitelist to manage how different sites are able to use the API. So once you've got your production application ready to go, or any staging areas or things like that, you'll need to make sure that those domains are also included in our core's whitelist, in addition to your redirect URL for OAuth. Second thing, we have the ability to give you a sandbox account, which is basically an account that has some sample feeds, some sample cameras, the ability to manage events and things of that nature, which is really helpful when you want to first start developing against the API. If you want to have your own equipment, there's also an option here to request a hardware development kit, which will include a bridge and some cameras, as well as, if you need other additional equipment, that's definitely something that can be requested at this time as well. But that's for if you want to actually work with your own equipment rather than the sandbox account. And there is a cost associated with that. Finally, we have the ability to generate timestamps. This is something that we added because it was really helpful. We use ISO formatted timestamps with millisecond precision. So we provide the ability to just generate that for you based on whatever time zone. It kind of handles all those calculations for you. It also allows you to URL parse that string as well, since we do use query parameters for a lot of our API calls. This is just something just to make your life a little bit easier. But that's pretty much all for this video. In the next video, I'll be showing you the OAuth process in detail. And then in future videos, I'll also go over some of the basic things that you'll be able to do with the API. For example, accessing feeds, using video search, things of that nature. But that's all for today's video. Hope to see you at the next one, and we'll see you soon.